This is what's pissing me off today. I'm Bob Pritchard. Well, this is going to be kind of a dicey discussion because I've been reading a book called Nobody's Girl by Virginia Giuffre, and it's an awkward book, let's put it that way. She's one of the girls that was trafficked at the Epstein Island, and it's a tell-all book that gets into like who's who did what, and the backstory is to all this discussion about Donald Trump and the things that were happening on the Epstein Island. Now, since I started reading the book, I think my Facebook page has become inundated with comments about other people making comments, and of course this big story from last week about King Charles removing royal titles from Andrew, formerly known as Prince, because of his actions at the Epstein Island. And then there's a whole bunch of discussion behind that, like what happened last week that motivated the royal family to take this action. And one of the discussions is that Fergie has been keeping notes through this entire cycle of events and is coming out with all the information. Of course, she's the one who ended up on the short end of the divorce when she got rid of Andrew, or vice versa. Anyway, regardless of all that, the book is very, I don't know what the right words are. You really have to read it because it starts to get into some things that make you think that, well, maybe people in high places are totally perverted and sick. Now, my personal feelings about people who abuse children are really quite straightforward. Regardless of the sentence the court may hand down to them, I believe that those people should be turned over to the family for about 10 minutes between leaving the court and going to prison, just to see what happens. And if what happens is not something that the family can do themselves, they should be able to bring somebody along with them who can do things on their behalf, and at the end of the 10 minutes, no questions asked, as long as the person can somehow make it to prison for a while. Anyway, I'm really worried that this whole thing with the Epstein Island is far, far bigger than anybody has ever seen, that there's an entire culture of cover-up and lying and ignoring and murdering and things like that. I haven't seen that in the book yet. I'm only on chapter 4, but I'm getting there. And like I said, this is a non-fiction bestseller, so it should be kind of where the truth is. And at least on the parts I've read so far, they're absolutely making sure that we, the reader, understand that this is a true account of what happened to that poor girl. And that's what's pissing me off today. I'm Bob Pritchard.